All right, so it's like 2:30. I've been up since like 12:30. I just could not sleep. It was super uncomfortable, and I kept moving around. It was like something was, I was hurting. I don't even know how to explain it. It was rough. It was bad. It was bad. And my whole body has been hurting so bad. Oh my God. I can't believe how bad it hurts. And Stella is in so much pain. And then it always gets me. It's like, are we transferring this energy back and forth? Is because I'll try and heal it. I'm always trying to heal it, and I'll try and even heal through her, but I don't know, or it's just the environment. Because definitely, I went out yesterday. Because now that Jack's gone, I went out and I was cleaning out my yard, which I talked to the girl again, because I have a bunch of stuff, more stuff I was giving her, because I bought him a ton of stuff. And now I just look at it so different. I just feel like so fortunate that I got to have the experience and see, because I was sure that that was going to be the answer with Stella. And then I saw like it was, at first it seemed like, oh, it's got her up doing stuff and got her back to being excited, to have something to play with. But he was way too rowdy, way too much. But then he had that aggressive side. But now I really feel like that was coming out because he was just dropped off here and he didn't know me and he wasn't happy to be here. He missed his family. And I think she did it impulsively. And I think that's why her husband was like wanting to be involved and the kids were so excited and stuff. And she seems really excited. Like, I think she felt really guilty because she kept telling the neighbor apparently that, well, if it doesn't work out, we'd love to have him back. Because I think the husband was probably like, come on, why'd you do that? And because now he's like, I'm going to take an active hand and go in and training him and stuff. So I had said I had all this food and stuff, and she said that she wanted to come get it, and I asked how he's doing. She said he's so happy. I was like, that's good, because he wasn't happy here. I know, once I started having to realize like this constant running away, it's like he is not happy here. The universe is showing me he wants out. And then I got to question myself when I'm not giving him what he wants. And what is my drive? What is fueling my perspective? Which I had such a, because yesterday I was talking about the thing about destiny, and that Bashar part kept sticking in my head. And then all of a sudden yesterday, so it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain this. It's kind of like you go through life and you just, to me, I'm always in communication, like I said. So I'm always asking questions and stuff. And so then it's like they use or however you look at it, use opportunities come into your life for you to see different things, and then it's shown to you. So anyways, that question was in my head yesterday, and I was like trying to see it more, but then all of a sudden I could just see it. And I still feel like I would explain it the same way as I explained so many other things, because it is like this just it's like this gradient. It's like a bleeding out of any experience is like the nucleus that bleeds out of all different things. And so all the different shifts just move the characters into these different roles. So it doesn't matter, but it's based on your frequency. It's based on how you feel and what lessons are where you go into the experience. And I think that the experiences aren't all connected like we think all the time. I think that they give us like filler time or something, but I don't think things are as connected as what people think. That's how I pick up on it. But anyways, it is like you could go into any timeline, but it isn't like I don't know, because when you hear them jumping timelines, it's like astral travel, jumping from dream to dream or something. And I don't look at it like that. I look at it as more of like this gradation of like every, it's almost like every frame of every movement creates a new experience that just bleeds out. But it is the same for the whole reality. And so, your players are all in motion in the play. And so they aren't stuck playing the same role. Their shift goes with your shift. And so everything is in this shift. But wherever you take your focus is based on your vibration of what it is that you're supposed to be learning. And so, I mean, like, I can see it. I don't know how else to explain it. But like seeing it, it kind of just looks like all of these pictures fade out. And that is something that is shown to me all the time. But it is shown in different reference. But it just has so much to do with everything. Then, you know, and how all of our experiences matter. Like people are always wanting to, you know, conform, to be different, to not even be present in their own lessons. So it's like, I don't know, I think it's just like a different way of existing when you become like more present in your own learning, your own lessons. And it's wild too, because like I saw this one spiritual person saying that that's very 3D to work on yourself, to think that anything's wrong with you. So, you know, it's all by different perspectives. Because I talk about my perspective all the time and how I see it is how it worked for me. It's not like just how I see it, it's how it worked for me. Is the realization that healing and letting go of things, that you change your own patterns, that you can change your own life. It changes your frequency. It changes how you look at things. It changes your relationships. Even though you have people who, they still can treat you the same, your attitude is different. And so there could be people who treat me the same as they've always treated me. I can't control how other people treat me, but the way I look at it is different. The way I'm affected by it is different. The way I go into it, I don't go into it and play these back and forth and, you know, I'm right and you're wrong. It used to be that I would get in fight with, especially the one daughter who I realized was always teaching me boundaries. I'm still getting all these weird tingles. It feels like itching all over. That was the one thing too that was keeping me up. I'm so fucking uncomfortable. But I didn't finish talking about that because somebody said something about how I'm all over the place. That's just the way I am. Like, I can't change. Like, if it drives you crazy, I'm probably not a good person to listen to, because that is just how I am. That's how I am if you're talking to me. That's how I've always been, is that, you know, that's like where they give you those labels of like attention deficit or something. It's just like my mind is just popping off, and I'm just grabbing stuff. And it's whatever is waving the biggest. It grabs my attention. And so, because I didn't finish talking about with Stella in she's in a huge amount of pain, and where I can be like, okay, well, it could be the rain, it could just be because Jack was so rowdy, like, oh my God, the last few days. And I know that that's how her leg got hurt, is because then I was seeing what he would do. He would go underneath her and then twist back around so she couldn't reach him and bite her on the back of the legs. And I don't know, it's probably something that I think herding dogs do, like shepherds, I think probably. But there's another, like, what are those dog healers? I think blue healers. They're a herding dog, and they do that too. It's like a herding technique, I think, when they're expected to control a herd. So, but, you know, all this interbreeding, you know, all this stuff that we're mixing all these dogs up with all these, you know, I definitely feel like I have a tendency to a certain breed that is more of in my jives with me. Like, I don't jive with every breed. That's for sure. I don't like runners. I don't like diggers. I cannot believe how many holes are all over my yard. I don't like diggers. I don't like runners. I don't like biters, growlers. And Stella always, like, when I was training her, because I took it very serious. Like, if you're going to have a dog that's bigger than you, you can't fuck around. Like, anybody who with any of these animals, they get these big animals and they do it like to show off or something. It is that you have to teach them when they're little who's the boss. And so, but not with a heavy hand. You can't be aggressive, because then you make them, anxious. And you don't want to have a big dog that's anxious, like is jumping and everything. Because they already, I swear to God, a lot of these giant breeds, Great Danes, Mastiffs and stuff, they get scared of shit. They're scared shitless. They will, like, unless she's trying to protect me, then she will get in between me. No matter what happens, she will get in between me. But like, I open the door to let her out the other and scare the shit out of me. She goes, jolts out, she jumps back, starts barking, runs over and starts barking. I'm like, oh fuck, is somebody in the yard? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. It was probably a cat, because she would be that, but I don't know, because it's happened before. And the large cat, like, that's been back there. And then, and not like recently, like, I don't know if it has been recently. Animals are doing really weird things though. But anyways, that scared the shit out of me. And, but so I was thinking, well, the rain could be making her really sore. Just all that added activity with him, because she was constantly having to twist. And then she would get excited and go out and run and bark with him. So she was like overdoing it all the time. And then, so that could be why she's super sore. But like, then I'm super sore. So am I super sore because I'm picking up on her soreness? Or am I super sore because I was outside cleaning the yard and breathed in all that funk? And I swear to God, I just know it's fucking chemicals. Because like, you'll feel different things in your body. And then all night long, I was in so much pain. I couldn't sleep. And then plus there's something weird. Like, that end of my house is so fucking haunted right now. It's really getting creepy. And I've lived in a lot of haunted houses, but like, this is getting fucking creepy. And I started thinking, and Stella was being so wild last night. Oh my God, she was being so affected. I was like, what in the hell is going on? And I started thinking, I wonder if it is like, here is a frequency more what they can't move into here as much. But back there, and I don't know how far back it goes. I just know back here, like where you can see things and stuff, and the noises, like it's like it's getting to be a lot. And then I felt like, well, I don't know, were they coming out here and harassing me when I was sleeping, and that was keeping me up? And fuck, it's hard to say. But anyways, I was on TikTok yesterday. I was looking for something yesterday evening. I tried to go on a few times, and it's just like, man, I think I'm going to have to just, I'm trying to wean myself off right now. I'm trying to just like break a bad habit and just get off of it, because it really gives me nothing. It doesn't add anything positive to my life. And, well, I say that, and then I'm about to say something added positive to my life, because I saw a girl talking about her dog being so sick and her vet nightmare. I've seen a bunch of different people talking about their vet nightmares, and, it's so similar to what I have gone through, where you go and they just put you on a bunch of pills, and then the pills start making your dog sicker, and if you don't do what they say, and then the whole thing, a guy just did a video about his dog passing, and how, that the world that they've created is killing our pets. And, you know, I've had that awareness for a while. That's why I try and stay so on top of her with natural stuff and all this herbs and stuff. So anyways, this girl was talking about hers, and that they had said that he was going to have to be put down. And so she had, I don't know, out of desperation, she had seen, or some video came to her, and, or if she was looking stuff up, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But she saw a girl talking about her dog having autoimmune and getting the eye stuff, the IVR, that business. And so I was like, oh, man, I thought, I don't know, you know, I don't know that much about that stuff. I know a lot of people talk about it, but I don't know that much about it. I don't listen to all the different stuff. This one, I was listening because of a dog and the autoimmune. And now, like, really realizing, like, that's probably what is affecting me so much with the pain and stuff. But it can be, I mean, and it's created somehow, because the Epstein-Barr has to do with that. But, you know, I'm so wheezy. And, but the Epstein-Barr thing has to do with that. But also, man, I get so envious when I hear about these women who got to take their implants out, even though we don't want to go back under a knife again, because it's so aggressive when you know that the med bed thing is just up ahead. But, gosh, it's like wheezing in my nose, too. So, you know, I drank a couple of good cups of that Mullen tea this morning, too. Okay, man. Let me think what I was saying. I gotta look at a harmonica. Let me think for a sec what I was saying. So the eye stuff, this girl was saying it helped her dog with autoimmune. And so this other girl decided to try it, and it helped hers. And so then I had messaged my mom, because when my one daughter who has a bunch of these was sick, my mom said, you got to tell her to get some of this stuff. And my mom has some just on hand. I don't know, because she follows more of that. There's like there's subdivisions and all these things. Like I said, I bounce around a whole bunch of things. I don't go all dive heavy into one thing. And so the people who are all into, I don't know, medical patriotism, I don't know. There's people who talk about this stuff all the time. And so she, and then she told me that my uncle, who his wife has had lupus, I don't know, like there's so many women who have autoimmune disease, and she had been sick for a long time, and him and her took it, and the same stuff I got, they got the horse paste, and so they took that. My mom got some kind of dog pills or something, and took those, and she said that she felt way better. I want to see as if it improves this autoimmune thing, and so mine comes tomorrow, and I'm going to try it and see, and I'm going to take it too. I'm going to take it and give it to her and see what happens. And then I don't know if this stuff is where you start getting a bunch of worms out of you, like these ones that crawl around my face. I started thinking even in my ears, because I'll start getting all these like itching, and I'll start getting so paranoid. And I started thinking, I wonder, like, how they say, like, ear mites, like dogs have ear mites and stuff. Like, how much of that stuff we have all the time, especially because they're dropping all this stuff on us. I was getting so itchy, and I had noticed when Jack was here how itchy he had become. Because when he first came, he wasn't itchy at all, and then he would go out and be in the rain and stuff, and then he started getting itchier and itchier and itchier. And Stella has all these skin condition. Winston had skin conditions, and just like that guy said, you know, that they have been destroying our dog's health the whole time by giving him these things, saying that they have to have them, even dogs that don't go anywhere or around, because that was one of the things too about Jack, is I was like, man, I don't want to get him any more of those, but to go and get him fixed, then they make you anything that you want to take. You want to go to the groomers, you want to go anything. They just put control over us. Like, you have to do this, you have to comply, you have to comply. And it becomes just ridiculous, especially when you start realizing how much it's destroying the health and all these dogs that are dying of cancer and stuff. It's just really sad. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure we all have it. I'm sure we all have some kind of cancer inside of us that we're fighting because of all these chemicals. And that's why it's so important to really focus on your health. And, you know, I don't know, eating green comes into my mind. And I seen some of these people talk about the dog things and saying it's really important to get your dog on eating raw, which I always feed Stella regular food. And I just remember back when I was a kid, like I've talked about before, like I remember being back on the farm when the dogs would be there, because we had a dog. Then I remember my mom did have a bag of dog food. Like a lot of people had bags of dog food in their garage. So I remember our kids would go and eat it. And, you know, like a Daria, I remember there was a lot of stories of that. Oh, do you know so-and-so ate dog food? So but I remember back when I was a kid, is like you'd finish eating, everybody would finish eating their supper, and then they would scrape it on one big plate or pan or something, and they take all the leftover supper out to the dogs, and then they would feed it to the dogs, and that would be their supper. And it was like the chain, you know, the chain of circle food, chain life circle food, whatever. It's like, and that's how a pack works too. Like the stronger ones, you know, the ones that got the food, then they pass it down like to the next ones. Like they have their way with the food, eat it, and then what's left goes to the next ones. And it just goes down like that. And that always seemed like the right way to me. I've just been shocked how dog owners will throw their food away and say, oh, well, my dogs don't eat food. That's not good. It's like, what? So anyways, I, you know, have always thought the dog should eat food. And I think probably throughout some of my marriage, though, that there was definitely where other, you know, that would have been an argument. So you know, probably an argument that I lost. But once I had total control over what I was doing, I was feeding my dogs food. And everybody thought it was so weird. But anyways, I kept saying that dog food, like, it's not good for them. And it's better for them to eat real food. And now even our food is so funked up. So it's like, man. And then even when I go and give stuff to the squirrels and stuff, it's like, fuck, we're all just being poisoned. A whole fucking bunch of us. So, you know, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, something's going to change. It's going to give, because, like, it's just the way it's going to go. Like, the universe is just going to, we're going to hit into something, but we're going to go the other direction. So, let me think, because I was about to say something. Was it the medicine? I'm excited to try it and see, and then, you know, tell anybody about it. But anybody who knows anything about it, you can leave me some comments about it, because I don't. I'm going to watch some tutorials today and see what people think. And then also, I have been making bread. I haven't been using my bread maker. I've been making it in this little toaster oven, which makes great fucking bread. It's so crispy on the outside and then so soft and moist on the inside. And so I decided I'm going to make bread for the neighbors, because I was going to make candy. And so then I was like, okay, well, I think tomorrow when I get paid, I'll go to the thrift store, I'll get some little cute plates, and then I'll make the candy and I'll give it to them. Then I was, the bread was coming out so good. I was like, man, that's what I should give them, bread. But, you know, because then you start thinking, oh, well, you got all these gluten-free and all this kind of stuff. So who knows, you know, what will happen. But anyways, homemade bread is so good, especially when it's so crunchy like that. And so I was like, I think I'm going to do that. And, but then I kept thinking I need to go get these plates and stuff. And so then, it's like as soon as you shift your mind, as soon as you start thinking outside the box, things shift around. And so I decided to do the bread. And then I decided I would make candy to go with the bread. And so but then I opened my drawer to get something out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I got all these flour sacks, because I put those over the bread when it's cooking, or when it's rising. And so the flour sack things, and then you can put them over the bread, and it's like a bread sack after you cook the bread. So you don't put it in a baggie or something. You put it like this over it. And they all come with, packs come with a burlap strap thing tied around it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that would be perfect. I don't need a plate. I'll use this as the wrapping. That will be so cute. And then I saw a little, like when you get a little package and you take the little cute things off of them. And I was like, oh, I bet you I have enough of those that I've taken off that I can make a little cute thing to put on each package too. And so then I found all those. And so I decided to make the bread and put the flour sack and use a little burlap ties. And I found these little cute decorations to put on the top. All that stuff is here. And then I was like, well, then what do I do with the candy? Because I don't have baggies or anything. I was like, but I do have a lot of jars. And so I found some cute jars that had red lids. And so I'm going to make the candy and put them inside the jar, and then give them to the neighbors. And so anyways, that's what I'm going to do today. So I was really excited. I don't know, it seems like, I don't know, a nice thing to do to give somebody like some warm bread. And plus I'm going to give it to them when it's warm. It's wrapped in the little cloth thing. So anyways, I'm excited about doing that today. And then the lady is supposed to come and pick up Jack's food and his, because I had bought him a bunch of stuff. So she's going to come and get that. And, but she seems super excited, super happy. And she's saying Jack is super excited. So it could just be a really good lesson for everybody. Jack to appreciate his home, that he can always go to some hellacious place, or and be away from his family. And her to see, like, maybe it was a wake-up call to the other kids and family, like, you got to step it up, you got to help more with him. And then for me, it was definitely to see a really young dog. And the thing with the breeds, it was like, man, me and every breed just do not fit. And then plus his barking, and all this stuff he was showing was so much anxiety, which could have all been just because he was taken out of his home to a stranger, and even though he seemed young, he was still set with his people. And his sister too, his dog sister. I was like, man, I was like pulled out from a lot of stuff. So I'm just glad that he's back there and it seems to be going good. And, maybe that like month or month and a half or whatever it was, that will give them a little bit to, because their other puppy is a year. So maybe they're just at a really hard time with him. And he is rowdy, but hopefully he's more calmed down. And then I'm sending all these like chew bones and stuff. Maybe he didn't have a bunch of chew bones. Maybe that'll calm him down. I don't know. It's out of my hands. But I had to look at my own self, all my own things and what I thought and how I felt. And I had to be honest with myself. And he was making me where I was just like, oh my God, I'm angry. I'm on edge. He was driving me insane. So I knew it wasn't a good fit. But see, I have a bad habit of keep trying to force something. Because I could have told the girl like a few weeks ago. She had even messaged me and asked me how it was going, because I think she was having regret already. I think she was having regret within the first couple days. So I could have been more, but I kept having it in my mind he was going to go to the shelter. And I was like, I don't want him to go to the shelter. So, I mean, he's sweet. He just is like, I'm just lucky with Stella. She just is so laid back, and she's so calm, and she's so smart, and she pays so close attention to me, and I don't know. She just is like more intuitive and empathic. And then I started thinking, well, maybe it's because it's a girl dog, it's so much more emotional. Maybe I'm just, I decided I don't want another boy dog. It's like, man, no. I don't want to sit there and keep looking at his nuts thinking, well, those got to go. Because that just seems like, that seems like mad scientist shit. I don't want to do that. And I do like a girl's personality more, where they're more emotional. And she's just more calm. She's not as rowdy. He was so physical and so rowdy and wanted to jump up on you all the time. And then he would start sniffing you and wanting to hump you and stuff. It's like, dude, get up off of me. So anyways, but at the TikTok thing too, I was like, God, I am so burnt out on going on there. It's just, it seems so, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen things about, I saw one thing about storm and floods. Oh, I did see Iceland is bad with they have an earthquake and volcano at the same time, and it's really vicious what's going on there. And I don't know what's going to end up. Like I had said before, it's like, fuck, I don't know what's going to end up happening. Some places are going to, and who knows if they're just going to be like, boom, and they're going to be gone in some big disaster. And all those people leave together because they may go back to like their own planet or something. I don't know. Different people go to different places. But I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to leave together in big crowds. And, but I know that there's like snowstorms going on. There's people that were having no power. So I've seen about that. I didn't see that much about the storms in Florida. And definitely not seeing a bunch of stuff about the money thing, which there was all those people were sharing about the debt clock and the timers and all these breakdowns and people watching about the bricks, and then all of a sudden there's just like nothing. And so it's like, man, are they trying to hide something? Like even with the Wall Street stuff. So I still go on and check and see if I see stuff like that. But man, it can be irritating. And now there's just like full on battle has broken out. Like they're picking teams on this Finnegan and this other girl. I don't know her name, but she is also a big content creator apparently. And so now people are picking sides. I don't know how big. I mean, she's probably not as big as him. He's got all these people who are probably as big as her following him. So he has a big following of people who have a following. So I don't know. And now it seems like all these people are going against her. And it is strange, because when I had seen her talking, it did sound like that it was this was an encounter that she had with him, where he was like, very different. And but then I guess it's that she's saying that it happened in the astral. And so now you have all these people coming out and all these different things. Like people are saying stuff about twin flame stuff. Like, I don't know, with all these people, they get so caught up in, I don't know, following trends and labels and all of them. Like, it doesn't matter what group. Because you could totally take somebody who would be ridiculing one label and then they would be calling themselves neurodivergent, all these different things. So, anyways, I don't know. But to me, that guy, like, I don't know that much about him. Like I said, I always just kind of got cringe. There's a lot of those young spiritual guys. I just don't follow these people. I don't follow any of these people. Mama Zuma, I have followed. She's always outdoorsy, Mother Earth and stuff. But I didn't go in and listen to her opinion because these people all are like, I don't know, a community or something. They all stick together or something. I'm not sure. But you have all these people coming out and saying a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel kind of like they're kind of picking on the one girl, but I don't know what her deal is. Now you have them saying like she's in some kind of psychosis. Like I said with that, like even with that Finnegan, when I saw him, when he had come across my feed, I felt like he was putting on a persona. I thought he was trying to be a certain persona, which that was cringy to me. And then I thought that he was, I don't like it when those guys are always just trying to be shirtless. It's like they're all trying to be like fucking sexy or something. And who was that, Fabio or something, like trying to be all like, I don't know. It just doesn't go to me. Like, I just don't, like, to me, in a spiritual quest, I'm picturing more of a guru, like somebody who is levitating and just like, and you know, he's not, I mean, I guess the Dalai Lama, he could be like showing some nip or something, trying to get all sexy, I guess, trying to get his tongue in some kid's mouth, who knows. But I don't know, to me, when I see that, with a lot of those guys, I've all those young spiritual people have just kind of rubbed me the wrong way anyways. So I wasn't, following him and watching him, but he was popular enough that you see his videos a lot. He pops up a lot. And I think at some point, I probably had followed him early on, and then he was cringing me, so I stopped following him. And so I don't know, I think he kept, but I don't know if I ever followed him, but I know that I had seen some of his videos. And he was one of those guys definitely who was shirtless, his long hair. He was always making a thing about his hair. And I don't know. It was like he was always trying to be like sexy, spirit sexy, like all these different spiritual guys. And, there's other girls that have come out against some of these other guys that they are, like they use this persona to get girls. And so I don't know, what this girl is picking up on. I don't know what her deal is. You got these people saying she's in some kind of psychosis. She's in some kind of twin flame psychosis. She's in she's got mommy and daddy issues, and she can't separate them because she hasn't healed. She's got like all these different people with their different perspectives over what's going on. And to me, it's like, I don't have no idea what's going on. It's like not any of our business. Like my perspective is like, I don't know that girl. I don't have no idea anything about her. All I know about the guy is that he was cringy to me. I wasn't, but he seemed to be like he was trying to be out passing. Like he started doing high vibration music and stuff. But I don't know, he still seemed to be very much into his persona and into who he was or something. I don't know. I guess probably we all are. But I don't know. I mean, we all have people who, I'm sure there's people who watch me or cringe it out and they're like, oh, I don't like her. So it's like, that's how I felt when I watched a lot of these guys, because not just him, there's a bunch of them. And they all seem like they're trying to be too, I don't know, like, I don't know. Maybe authenticity is lost somewhere. Maybe everybody's just so busy putting on some kind of persona or something that maybe they're just too lost. They don't even recognize that they're putting on a persona. Everybody's so deep in their persona. Maybe I'm just super judgmental, and maybe I pick up on things that other people don't. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. It's my experience. It doesn't have to be anybody else's experience. And I just know that there's a lot of those guys, but there's a lot of the girls too that I don't follow them. I think that some of the stuff they say is weird. I don't think that it's super spiritual. It seems like that they are, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to judge them. Everybody's on their own journey, but I just wasn't a journey that I was really following. But now that they're all up and, but all these different things have to fracture apart. They all have to fall apart. And so I don't know how this one, I mean, to me, it's been falling apart the whole time. Just like with the stuff that people say. Like always trying to tell you to manifest money, how to control energy. You need to burn candles. You need to do ceremonies. And then you have these people who even start getting out their Bibles. It's just, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. To me, one thing I even noticed too was all these people like on TikTok, because you get video after video. You're hearing this for a reason. You need to stop. You need to listen to this. And sometimes it will even fuck with my head. And so they will, say that, and I'll stop and listen to see. And sometimes it's like you start trying to make something fit. And it's like, wait a minute, this has nothing, no, this is not a message to me, and skipping past it. And I think a lot of people, though, that they think that the message is to them, and that means they're supposed to go in that direct, they're supposed to do something. Like it could be misleading. It seems like that's even what they're trying to say about this girl who's making these charges against Finnegan or whatever, which she should have been a lot more clear, because now she has like all these people who are going against him. He's getting all this hate. It's like a big drama. And he did a response, and Amy sent me the response. I wouldn't have even seen it, but I saw his response. And he was the one who was like, this is happening in dreams. This isn't even real. I don't even know you. And I was just like, what? And I was like, man, she was sure making like that this was really happening. I sure did not pick up she was talking about that this was a dream. And so then you have these people coming out and saying, yeah, she's putting out these videos and not making it clear that it's a dream. And then, man, I don't know, because I know that I go to astral places, and I know I can tell when you're interacting with somebody. I can tell when you are around somebody. And I have had this one person who's come in my dreams for like 6 years. And there's been like this whole transformation in the dreams. We don't have like I don't know, her stuff seemed weird, like her, like I don't know, because our mine with this other person, it has been way more of like meeting, or me being in a room and them not noticing me, and then them to start like, then a month later it'll be another dream, and I'll be somewhere else, and then they will see me. It was like this whole transformation over 6 years. And so, I know I didn't make that up. I know I'm not crazy. And I mean, like, I would have to be to be able to even make this storyline go for between months and months in dreams. It's like, I know that there are other states of consciousness is real. So I don't know, because these people are saying like she's got a trickster, and but that's what I think that one girl has, who's Lucifer's lover now. Like, she's got a hold of some trickster. But you can get taken over by these dark energies. They can take you over, where to me it seems like you need to get an exorcism or something. And right now it seems like there's so many around, so much dark energy around, or it's so active, or it's so, maybe because all of this turmoil happening has got it all turned up, and so many people are going through so much chaotic energy that it's like all this energy is just all over the place. I don't know. It definitely seems weird, but that to me, the dream stuff is real. Like, there's other connections that you have with people, with the soul connections, and being around them in other realms, that's real to me. And so I don't know if she is around this person, if how she recognized him. And it made me start thinking, geez, am I crazy? Like, am I being tricked by some trickster? But it's like, ugh, that is like a lot of years, a lot of synchronicities, a lot of like, man, I don't know. And then, so I don't know with this person. Like, it's weird. And it's weird how we just automatically will start comparing. And if something isn't working or something's not right with somebody else, then we start comparing ourselves when, we don't even know their experience. We don't even know what things bandwagons they're jumping onto. Don't know, like, what her spiritual background is. I don't know what her psychosis is. I don't know with his either. I don't know if maybe he has some aspect like this of himself that is in the dark to him, and she is picking up on it in the astral, and she does know him from a soul thing, and she's here to call him out because he is to go through this public humiliation because it's a part of his growth. Like, that is more on the deeper side of things that are going on. Like, there's a lot of deeper stuff that's happening that people don't really realize or recognize, because everybody stays so much in the shallow and superficial. But I just don't think it's good to go in and start being like, I don't know, choosing sides and saying this person's wrong or this person's right, especially when you're not in either person's experience. When this keeps playing out and playing out, where everybody jumps on to be on somebody else's team. And we got to come into unity, just accepting that that's their storyline. That's something, that's between them. People shouldn't have been jumping onto her story and then going in and attacking him. Like, oh my gosh, people, you don't, if a story has nothing to do with you, why do people just jump onto them like that? And there's been so many of these stories I have seen on TikTok where the actual content creators have actually done themselves in because of the bullying, because of the hate that comes at them when in these certain situations. And so I think it's just important to not jump onto all the bandwagon. And I think that there's stuff happening on the planet right now to make that clear to us. Like, these kind of situations keep like it can be going one way and all of a sudden it goes another direction. And so it's like, we can't jump on and go in and start attacking somebody and getting up in somebody else's business. I don't know. I just think that is like overstepping. There's like a line. If it's a fight between me and somebody else, and it's between us. It's not for everybody else's consumption. It's not for everybody else's distraction, But there's going to be more of this stuff, I think, in the spiritual community that's going to fall apart. More things are going to be exposed. Who knows how this will play out with him and her. I mean, ugh. And then like all these other people now inserting themselves into it. And they're all like bigger content creators. So it's like, man, I don't know. Let's see how it all plays out. But I know all these different groups all have to fall apart because it all is to go into, everything is for you to align how you feel. Everything is about you reeling it in and then really getting yourself directed. It's like when you're looking through a microscope or telescope or something, and you have to keep steering it to get it exactly so you can see perfect. And that is what you're trying to do in life to yourself. And these people who, think that you got to just focus on love and light, and that's being spiritual. When being spiritual is recognizing the dark and the light inside of you so that you can find balance in the two. And so you can direct yourself into living a life that isn't dependent on other people's view of you, so that you don't have to feel bad because you can't please everybody, and that you can find independent thought, independent view of oneself. And like I said too, like with those people, like all these super spiritual people, they seem trendy, you know, they don't seem like, you know, just a guru guy sitting there. And even when if they go and try and do that and put on, like, it's like they're putting on a character, and they're not just going into purity, into self. It's like they're trying to make a character or something, and so I don't know, because I definitely see it as somebody who can be detached, who doesn't need things, and is content and can find. It doesn't even have to be happiness. Happiness doesn't have to be, because that is like, what is the point of happiness? You need sadness. It is more of coming into a contentment. Just like how, you know, Matthias Stephanos says, when you get to the highest state, is no judgment. There's no feeling. There's nothing. So you get to your highest state. It's not like you don't have to feel bliss. A lot of these people too, that's what they think that they need to do in order to feel their spirituality. Like they have to go and do a bunch of drugs or something in order to connect to themselves. And you need to be able to connect to yourself in times of pain and trouble, and when you're arguing with somebody and you're fighting, and that you have to be able to pull into yourself so that you can come into into alignment, but into contentment, so that you can not feel triggered or not feel isolated or moved by someone else's opinion or somebody else's viewpoint, because their viewpoint is to help them to grow, to help them expand themselves. And you shouldn't be taking what they are reflecting on and making it a part of you. But see, that's a part of also with healing and growing, is people become so intertangled, like a codependency, and it's a toxic way to live. But you have all these different groups that represent this codependency, and I mean, all these different labels and diagnoses, they all create these groups of dependency, which you got to break free from all the dependency. Yesterday, I was in there and I felt something really sticky in my hair. And so I just washed the bottom of my hair to wash it out. And, you know, I was thinking, like, I do that kind of stuff now all the time. Like, it would have been before in my mind, it would have been, oh, you got to go in and do this whole wash your hair and stuff. And how I've transformed how I look at things and stuff. And then I was thinking, it really is like a liberation. It's like you liberate yourself from the way that they've taught you to think, the way that they've trained you to it's like they focus your mind. They create how you see things. And so anything you do that breaks free from that programming is like a liberation. And I was just hearing that yesterday in my head of like feeling that liberation, feeling liberated by able to pull free from any kind of programming. Anything that you do that you've been taught, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. And then you pull free, at least ask yourself the questions, why am I doing this? Are you just doing it because you're just programmed? Or are you doing it because it's the right thing to do at the right time? And so start taking notice of why you do things and when you do them and all that. To me, it's just all about breaking the programming and identifying yourself. And like I said, that this is becoming like your purest form of self in this spiritual evolution. And so, I don't know. To me, too, it's like a distraction to go and to pick sides on people and to interject yourself into it to that degree. Like, I don't know, now I even feel like I shouldn't have even mentioned it. But I do think that these different kind of spiritual things are going to keep blowing up. There is going to keep being weird stuff. All the different groups. you know, everything, because there's going to be a bunch of big blowing up on the Patriot stuff too. When things start going in different directions and they start trying to backpedal, and because, you know, they don't realize that they are pushing fear because they are in fear. So they're pushing what they are scared of. Because none of them stop and go and start trying to understand about spirituality. That's going to be the biggest thing, is a spiritual awakening, because nobody looks at life through the spiritual perspective of why they're here and what they're doing here. And that is what life is all about. And then it's a different approach. Like, people, even in this spiritual community, it's just so egotistical. I think it's weird for these guys to all just be no shirt on. Even if, because there's even an Islander guy who I see. And I don't know. I just feel like, you know, if you're publicly, I don't know. Because I'm weird, I think. You know, my kids will say, like, I'm some sort of prude or something. Like, because I don't like the stuff in the movies and whatnot. Like, I really like watching older movies and stuff. I really don't like all the sex and all the action and all the slaughter and stuff. I don't like all that stuff. And, but, you know, those will be like, you're such a prude. But I think that when I've been seeing guys walking down the street and they just have their shirt off, I always think that just seems weird to me. Like, girls don't get to just walk around with their shirts off. So why do guys just get to walk around with their shirts off? It just seems weird. I don't know. It's always seemed weird to me ever since I was young. And so it always, when I see guys walking around with their shirts off, it's like, why do you have your shirt off? Like, we have to wear our shirts. Why do you have your shirt off? And it's like, because your nipples are flatter or something. You don't have to wear, we have to wear a shirt and you don't. And so, I don't know, when I see people who are just, you know, doing videos and exposing themselves, like, because you got all these girls shaking their ass nonstop, just keep dancing. And yesterday, one of the girls who, she started talking about the filter thing and about the girls wearing the makeup, because she is, she's going way deeper into her awakening. She talks about dating and stuff like that, but she is starting to see different things, you know, she's starting to speak out about different things. I don't know if she noticed them before, but she's saying different things. And she was saying something about all these girls with the filters and stuff. It really is standing out. Like, there is girls who seem like they are just developing this persona. Like, it's weird. Like, the bold glamour has brought out this part in people. It's like, and she was saying too, it was like, you know, it's not real. Like how, I don't know. Like, how do you go and live your regular life if you are spending all day being this fake character and then go look in the mirror and then you don't look like that? I don't know. To me, it seems like it would be depressing. It would make you feel bad. Like, you have to go and look like under the filter so you can feel good about yourself. It's like, I think those filters fuck with the people's heads, and it's not healthy. And then it gives this, I think this girl was talking about, it gives these guys this like, they think that this is what girls really look like. And so then it makes it like, you know, they think that there's all these sensational, beautiful girls out there, and they're all just all over the place. It's like, these are filters. These aren't even real people. I mean, they're real people, but they look very different. And so it just makes things seem strange. Like, I think I've heard this, I don't know if she was talking about it, but I heard it from somebody, how there was some girl, it was some real pretty girl or something, and this guy said she was a 6, and that, so there's been all this talk, I think, about the filters give guys this unnatural perspective, an unnatural pull, unnatural measuring tool. Like, they're measuring regular people against AI filters and stuff like that. It's like, it's not how, I mean, I don't know, the number system is hokey anyways, and people shouldn't be just categorized as numbers. I mean, just that we even want to do that and be numbered and categorized and stuff. And that backfired, I think. A lot of people wanted, to be categorized in a number, and then they are sad when they aren't the number that they want to be, because everybody wants to be a high number. But you're going to have the number is from the receiver, the person who is looking, and not everybody sees the same thing. Everybody looks at things differently. Everybody notices different things about different people. People pick up on different things. And you're going to be drawn or repelled to certain people. I heard this was interesting. Let me think if I can even say it right. Because this guy was saying, so if you met the right person, like the person who you are magnetized towards when you're healed, when you are, a high vibration. If you met that person when you were low vibration, that you would overlook them because you weren't in that space. And so you wouldn't see them the same way. You would see them probably as, like, to me, I think I see that person as being very wholesome and, just a little too sweet and a little too nice. That's how I would have taken it before, how I would have seen it in my younger self. And that I would have been more attracted to, I don't know, bad boys, or that is something that a lot of girls go and find out, like, oh my God, no. That is the worst way to go. But you have to go through those lessons. And then once you go through those lessons, then you see the other person, and it's like you see them differently. It's like, but you have to go through the dark in order to get to where you are in the light. And I was like, I do think that is true. I was really in alignment with how like I was explaining it, with the you won't see it. They won't be in alignment. It would be something you wouldn't be attracted to when you're in your low vibration. It's when you get to your high vibration that you see all these other sides of them. It's like, oh, now I see them as so different. But you have to go through that shallow side of yourself of, to me, going with people who were bad, because there's a whole nother part of that too that you're drawn to. It's like, because you have to play out these different things. And I think that too. I think that your life is about learning these lessons to raise your vibration, to help you heal. Like, I think that's weird how these people are saying, like, that's three-dimensional and stuff. That's the releasing of the three-dimensional world, is to heal it, to let it go, to not hold on to those wounds. Those wounds are what bind you to the three-dimensional world. You got to let go of them. You got to process them. Is the three-dimensional world is where you work them out. The wounds, the karmic debt, the balancing, it has to be worked out in a place where it can be worked out. And so, to me, it is you got to release all that stuff in order to ascend, to move up. And moving up is the letting go of all the burdens, the three-dimensional things, the ties that bind you, the cage that is built that holds you in. And seeing, that's why it's a spiritual journey, because it is you taking the cage apart and not being bound, not being held back, not being held back by other people's opinions, by the world's opinions, by how everybody else sees it, to be able to stand as a solidarity, as a singular being, to be able to stand in your own truth, like a tree. Like, there's a sense of humanity that is dependent on one another's view, and that is used against us. because they use it to contain and control us. And so that's a part of freedom, is breaking free from what you believe other people's opinions of you matter over. Well, I think a lot of people don't even have a good opinion of themselves. So you can't say over a good opinion of themselves, because most people hate themselves. They're so down on themselves. And it is due to this comparing themselves to other people and thinking that somebody else's storyline is a better, more successful storyline as them, and not understanding even your physicality is a representation of what you're here to work on, and your experience is what you're here to work on. It all has to do with the lessons. It has to do with what you're doing and why you're here. And see, that is all about the spiritual. And see, the more that you let go of all the things that you thought were important, that moves you more into that like guru state of levitation, of like none of this matters. To me, that is the more of the moving towards for the spiritual being, is like moving more into like a state like a monk or something. Like, I mean, because you have some of them that goes too much into religion, and too much, like, I don't believe that you're supposed to, go against everything in life. You're here to experience life. So you're here to enjoy the experience. You're here to understand the experience and to create the experience. But you're here to not shame and dismiss part of the experience. Because I think in some of those places, like some of those monks, like they're not even allowed to talk. Like they get too focused on the spiritual side, when you are here to experience not just the spiritual side. The spiritual side is to help you direct yourself through life so that you don't have a toxic life and toxic lifestyle. But you're here to experience what it is to be alive, and what everything that this realm, the realm that we exist in, what this realm has to offer. And so it is, it has to do with all of that stuff being put together, like, because you're here to enjoy life, to be a part of it, but not to become of it, where you forget who you are on the spiritual side and just be consumed by the material side. And see, I think that's what a lot of people are breaking free from right now, is breaking free from the material side, because they have been consumed. They have changed who they are. They have become more toxic and more hateful. And hold on. And also, I think I'll smoke some of that mullein leaf too. If you can smoke it, you can drink it, but get it more into my lungs. But all the mucus and stuff, like I said before, is like when your body's trying to fight toxins, then it will have all this mucus. That's why we have all this shit in our mucus, all this parasites and stuff. But also, I was taking some charcoal to see if that was make my joints not hurt so much. So, anyways, they're still hurting. Let me think what I was gonna say. So, the people who it was like jab right back into my throat. Hold on. So, the people who are caught up in the material world, they, it's like they are forgotten about their spiritual side. So see, that's why they have to come back into union with themselves. They have to come back into balance in themselves. They've been feeding one side of the wolf. They've been feeding the dark side. And it's so crazy too, is how many people just don't realize how toxic that is, how toxic your life is when you're feeding so much of the darkness, and how the darkness can be so consuming. and it can take people over. I really think that some people like need an exorcism who have a ton of dark attachment, and not so much of like removing demons and stuff, but you know, some kind of pushing out the dark energy, somehow of raising this person's vibration or something. I don't know. But there is some people who are so consumed by it. And I think that they show that just like in that movie May December, when they show like Natalie Portman, she was being consumed by the darkness. You could see it taking her over. And this girl on TikTok, watching her be taken over by the darkness. And the girl who was staying here and seeing her battle with the darkness that I'm sure had consumed her as a child when she was in distress, and it consumed her, and then it fed her to the point of mistrust, not knowing who she can trust and stuff, you know, and she's got a huge battle to get through that because they feed off of that to keep you isolated. That's like a big one. You know, you have to step out of those scenes. You have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be like, well, you guys are telling me I can't trust anybody. Well, let's just try it out. Let's just try it out and see what happens. And, you know, and maybe you can't. Maybe you will get failed by this person. But you have a lesson there. You learn something. You learn something about yourself. You learn another strength. Another skill comes to the surface. So you are always learning. You can't just play it safe. Like, oh, I'm going to just play it safe. I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to grow. I don't want to ever be hurt. It's like you got to be hurt sometimes. Like hurt and pain and suffering is what promotes growth and change and transformation. And if you don't go through any of that, then you're stagnant and stale. So you've got to always be going through this, taking opportunities and taking chances and taking risks, and you know, keep pedaling even when, you know, it seems like you're getting nowhere. You don't give up. And anytime you come up to an obstacle, you just got to figure out a way around it, you know, and then things just fall together in a beautiful way. Just like, you know, I had it so stuck on my head. Well, I can't go and do my cooking until Thursday, because Wednesday I have to go to the store to get the plates. And so I had this time right now, and I kept thinking I should just do the cooking now, but I can't cook it that much ahead. I've got to cook it. And so I was like having this internal battle, and then all of a sudden it was like those flour sack things, and then the little decorations, the little ties, everything just came together. And it isn't costing me anything. Like I had already bought all the sugar and the flour, and I had bought extra because there was another person here. So now I have more anyways, because I was going to make this stuff anyways. But so I had already bought this stuff. But anyways, I just thought like it all went together, and I thought it was going to go together in a different way. But then when you just let things fall and go, all of a sudden you can see, oh, it can go together in a different way, and it can go together in this way, that way, all different ways. And we hold ourselves back and being stuck and getting stuck on expectation. Well, it's got to go this way. If it goes this way, then that'll be the right way, and everything will go together right. It's like, no, you got to let it go and just go with, it's like you got to go with what feels right, and then take there's a counter to all the experiences. Like there's a feedback part that you can go through. It's present in life. Whether you're present with it is up to you. But there's different things playing out in life that people don't pay attention to. But so every interaction has value, and there has little lessons, or has, you know, a lot of times people be upset. Like what I was saying before with my daughter is, before when I would get upset, I would feel like I had to have somebody on my team or something. So I would say something to one of my other daughters, and then it would end up being drama. And there was just a lot of drama, and it turned into, like in our family, it could be like a wolf pack. Like one person is outed and everybody else is talking shit on them. And that went on for years. And it's like, it's so toxic. Nobody likes this. Nobody's happy with it. So we have to change it. So we all started making changes. We all started doing things different. But I could definitely recognize my own part that I played is, I think I do have a tendency to want people on my team when I'm confused about something. I think we all do. And, that partly maybe what's going on this spiritual thing too with these two people in this, I don't know, this emotional thing that's coming up. Whatever the thing is, it's, all the different people will have all their different lessons from however they interject themselves or whatever. Everything that you go through, everything that you have like experiences with are all there to give you lessons. They're all there to teach you things. And so, and you do have to like follow your gut. Like those people want to go and support their friend and come out, publicly and then shame somebody else, then it is, that is a part of them that they have to see or grow or whatever. Like we all have to see these different parts of ourselves. Like I swear, it seems like it's been really clear to me over the last few weeks of having to look at these other parts of myself, having to look in deeper on parts of myself, having to really be honest with myself. What do you really want? Is this what you want? Is this what you want to do? What drives you? And, can you stand up to people? Can you say, this isn't what I want, and this is what I want? And can you be clear? And can you do it without being aggressive? Can you just do it in an assertive manner where you just are clear, but you're not, coming across as angry and mad, which I think like I still get into that kind of, I've definitely over the last few weeks seen like, I can get pissed off. Like, I'm not all just sit there like, oh, nothing bothers me. No, things bother me. And when something bothers me, I'm having a reaction, and every time that we have a reaction, it gives us an opportunity to see it, to clarify it. And if we want to tweak it or change it at all, this is our opportunity to do that. And so see, if you don't ever have anybody around you to piss you off, then how do you ever get to see that side of yourself? To be in denial of that side of yourself or to hide from that side of yourself doesn't make that side of yourself go away. To have practice, to be able to become more like emotionally mature because you go through different experiences and you challenge yourself, and every time that you fail or you don't like an outcome, that you just tweak it a little bit, like I can see certain things that really irritate me, and so I don't know, part of it is like, like with the dog, with the digging and running and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, I know for sure that I don't want to have a boy dog. And I know for sure I don't want to have a dog that is a breed that tends to dig and run. And I don't, so that is just something that I would do to make myself feel more content or more happy. But then again, like you got to have these challenges, but then again, the universe will bring you the challenges. So challenges will always come in all different forms. And there is like a spectrum of identifying what it is that you want or what it is you don't want. And so that you can kind of, it's like crystallizing your life. It's like making it more clear. It's like doing the lines more dark around, it's becoming more clear about you, about who you are, what you want. And I don't know, because you see, everything can always blur into something else, where then you can, like these people who follow like Western medicine psychology and think that they need to cut all these people out of their lives that trigger them, because then it's like, because that's not good, that's not healthy. The people who come into your life to trigger you are there to teach you, to help you. It's like you have to start looking at it from different perspectives. You have to see, like, what does this person bring up in me? What is it they're trying to show me? What is it I'm trying to learn here? It's like, go deeper into yourself. And because it took me a while to recognize how my daughter would push me. And then I was like, okay, this always makes me feel like I have to put up boundaries. I have to push back. I was like, oh, that is what they had told me, is like she was teaching me about getting myself in balance between my masculine and feminine, which I didn't understand what for sure what they meant when they were telling me, but it had to do with boundaries and stuff. But then I learned more and more about the masculine and feminine, and just as you journey through, more and more pieces go together, and you understand things on a deeper level as you move through it's like move through the spectrum of self. It is like you're speeding at the sound of light through you, so you can understand yourself, and you're going through to see yourself in different experiences to understand yourself. I keep thinking about food because I made this bread yesterday. It was so good. One of them, because I decided I was going to try two different things because of my cooking situation. So a round loaf, and it turned out fantastic. But then I also did a French loaf, and I put a cheese stick in it. I thought, oh, let's see if it oozes out cheese. But it didn't really do that. It just like kind of made like one little hard cheesy thing. I think you have to put a whole bunch of cheese, and I was like, oh, I'll try that and everything. But I think I'm just going to make just plain kind of bread for these ones. And I don't know. That's the kind of thing too, really, if you are in a community and you start doing that, and you take things to people, like you take your cupcakes, you take your cookies, and everybody loves them, and you take them all the time to, some bake sale or whatever. And then people start ordering your cookies. They want your cookies for their party. You can build up. Everybody thinks like they have to build it into a whole freaking business. I think we have to change the way we look at work. We have to change the way we look at things. And you could do a lot of different things. Like maybe you make really good corn relish, and you make that, and you take that, and people start saying, hey, could I get some of that? And you start selling these little things that you do all the time anyways. And so then you start having, or you're selling them, and see where we've gotten it, where we've got the government all up in our business. So they tell people you can't make cookies in your house. You have to follow these rules and these laws. You have to have these licenses and stuff. That's all going to go away. All that stuff is going to end because it's all been government overstep. So that'll be a part of freeing people up to be able to do things. Because there was lots of people that were selling eggs from their chickens. There's people who were selling their animals' poop for, fertilizer and stuff for people's gardens. Like people started, coming up with their own things. And like these women who go and do all this jarring and stuff. And people think it's so strange, like they'd rather open a can. But all the corporate food's going to go away. So people who have been doing that, see, some people can be able to teach. I saw one girl said, you make way more money teaching something, because she was talking about a little crochet thing, I think. And she was saying, like, I could make a whole bunch of these, and I could sell them, and then I could pay the shipping, and, you end up not really making very much. Or she said, or I can do a tutorial or a class and charge people for that, and I only have to make one, and then you make all the money off of that. And so I think there's just a lot of different ways to start looking at things to make money, to to expand yourself, to be able to make money, but in simpler fashions, not in such an industrial process where you have to work all these hours and stuff. Because you just got to think about, like, when you don't have rent and you don't have all this money you have to pay, you're going to be so much more on easy street. But that doesn't mean you're not going to want to have any money. But there's just certain skills, there's certain abilities that people have that are just natural, that aren't like working, that aren't hard, that they can just share with other people and make money off of just simple things. I think that it's going to go a lot with that direction. I think a lot of jobs like that keep the world going or whatever, like if we're going to all of a sudden all be in hover cars, I don't think it's going to be a bunch of people in there making them. Like even the car places are laying people off. There's going to be more and more companies are laying people off, and there's going to be more and more layoffs, and it's going to be like devastating to people. But see, that's where they got to start realizing, it's when they go through the loss is when they go through the period of time of reflection, of thinking about, what they want. Some people just go rush and try and hurry and get a job because they feel desperate. But, some people will take their time on unemployment. And when you spend that time more on yourself, and it's like you surrender to a different aspect, not such a drive, and you kind of relax, and it makes you question things and stuff. So a lot of people throughout this whole thing have not wanted to return back to the job. That's why I think that the people who you see out working so much are still so robotic. They're still just so contained, and their mind is so contained that they are kind of lost. They've lost themselves. And so, but anyways, the energy is going to come in and switch everything and turn it in a different direction. And it can be any moment, anything can happen. And I think it still is going to be an impactful moment. It's going to be like, oh my God, it's going to be like a jump scare, like this big jump scare. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh. And but then it's going to turn people's view differently, which is going to, flip that energy around and smack them, because they're going to see things so different all of a sudden. So I think that is so close. And so anyways, we just got to see. But I don't know if I'm making any sense. I feel like that really got in my head yesterday too, where somebody was like, well, you're just all over the place. I'd like to keep up, but I can't. It's like, don't try and keep, like, if it's too hard, don't force to try and keep up with me. And I can't change myself. Like, I feel like people come in and they, well, if you would do this or if you would do that, try this or try that. It's like, this is who I am. Like, this is who I am. You're either like, I don't know, vibe with me, or, I rub you wrong. I think it's all based on vibration and frequency, though. It's like I don't get all caught up like, somebody doesn't like me or whatever. But it does get in my head of like, just that message that has been for so long in my life. You have to be different. You have to be different. Change yourself. Change yourself. If you want to be accepted, you got to be different. You got to act different. Be more like everybody else. Be more like acceptable. And it's like, that's not going to happen. I'm definitely all over the place, always. That is something that friends have complained about. My kids have complained about. Talking to me is definite roller coaster ride. I'm all over the place, and, to me, it seems fine. And there's obviously people who can keep up, because people do follow and keep up with the stuff I'm saying. So, I'm sorry for some people who I seem all over the place, but really that's just the way I am. And so it's probably not going to change. So anyways, Mrs. Stella is now making moves, and she's uncomfortable. And I'm going to go make some toast without bread, even though it's like, what time is it? 4 o'clock in the morning. My everything is so jacked up, I swear. My whole schedule, everything is just so weird. I don't know. I'm going to be so glad when the shift happens. I feel like it's just going to break me free from, like, Groundhog Day of weirdness and sickness. I'm so sick of the sickness. But I'm excited to get that tube that will come on Wednesday. So I'll definitely will, talk about that and how it does with us. But anybody who's tried it, knows anything about it, leave me some comments about what you think, or what happened with you, or how much you took and for how long you took. Because I've heard some people say you just take it forever, every day. And then other people, oh no, you just take it for a few days. But I mean, they send it once a month too. So, but you're supposed to do it every month or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to have to read more about it. So anybody who knows more about it, though, you're welcome to share your information. So let's just see what happens, see how this week keeps going. Now it's Tuesday, and so tomorrow I'm going to go to the hospital and I'm not going to, they don't have very much visitation time, so I'm just going to go take some stuff and tour. But when she called, she seemed really optimistic and excited for, what they can help her with. Because there's a lot of good, if this really is true, if it really is program. And I do think that there is this shift happening where there's going to be some really good programs to help people. And, because, the ones that were there were failing people and causing more distress. And so there's going to be a falling away of those ones, but there's also going to be a step down into the healing and stuff for people. Because I had heard Trump talk about that before, about getting these big healing centers and getting these people off the streets. People tried to turn it around like, oh, he's just going to take people off the streets and stuff. Well, he wants to put them into healing places and give them an opportunity to heal. And then I know a lot of these kids that are from the system that were institutionalized at young ages and stuff, that they, I think that they want to help these kids, that they want to help these kids get back on their feet and, get them into society. So anyways, we'll see, everything, everything, you just got to see how it all plays out. And, if it doesn't really have anything to do with this, then does it really matter how it plays out? And so, I don't know. I think that we all just need to just stay in our own lane a lot of times. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how some of this stuff plays out. I probably will still go on TikTok, even though I need to really just get off of it. It's not healthy, but I do want to keep seeing what's going on with these certain things. But then it's just I'll be questioning myself, oh my gosh. So anyways, I'm in a mental battle with that. And I need to just let it go, focus on something else, and just let things just play out at this point. I mean, everything is just going crazy. There is way more people who are starting to see oh, this is about the awakening. Oh, this is a great awakening. This is just about people waking up. So there is people who are starting to catch on, but I don't know. It still seems so slow. So anyways, let's just see how the week keeps going. Keep our fingers crossed to just hurries up and collapses and frees us from all this money. Even though I say it all nonchalantly, I'm sure it's going to be a really emotionally trying time for people. So, and we'll see. But anyways, I will be back tomorrow as long as I have power. And if you have power, I guess you'll see me. So I'll talk to you then. Bye.